Good day everyone, I'm Michelle Vicencio and today we are going to discuss about project-based multimedia learning. Objectives. At the end of this topic, the student should be able to first, define project-based multimedia learning. Second, identify the 7 dimensions of project-based multimedia learning. And lastly, know the importance of project-based multimedia learning. Before we proceed to the project-based multimedia learning, let us define first the project-based learning. Project-based learning is a pedagogical strategy in which students independently gather resources and information to create a project or product related to a topic. Meaning to say, the teacher set the goals for the learner and then it allows the learner to explore the topic and create their project. Through this, students develop life skills including critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and confidence. Let us also define multimedia. Multimedia is a representation of information in an attractive and interactive manner with the use of a combination of text, audio, video, graphics, and animation. Through multimedia, it increases the learning effectiveness of the students and it is more productive than traditional learning methods. The multimedia approach helps them to develop their higher order thinking skills. Let's proceed to the project-based multimedia learning. What it is? Project-based multimedia learning is a method of teaching in which students acquire new knowledge and skills in the course of designing, planning, and producing a multimedia product. By applying project-based multimedia learning, we, as future teachers who promote and develop our planning and organizational skills, research and technical skills, synthesis and analysis of complex content and data, how to present information in compelling ways, and an understanding of how academic subject matter applies to the real world. Why do we use project-based multimedia learning? Because first, it is value-added to our teaching. Second, it is powerful motivator as proven in the class. Third, it actively engages students in the learning task. And fourth, students are likewise engaged in the production of multimedia presentation. We have 7 dimensions of project-based multimedia learning, and these are core curriculum, real-world connection, extended time frame, student decision making, collaboration, assessment, and multimedia. Core curriculum. At the foundation of any unit of this type is a clear set of learning goals drawn from whatever curriculum or set of standards is in use. So in this type, the word core means center or emphasizing the inner goal of a project-based multimedia learning so that the students can acquire basic knowledge and skills. Whatever curriculum that has been implemented by the DepEd, we should not waste our time to teach our future students to be able to acquire new information and skills. Real-world connection. It seeks to connect students' work in school with the wider world in which students live. So, while we are alive in this world, I believe we still doing learning. Everyday work is a new learning experience. That's why, as a learner, we need to be realistic in learning such things because what we have learned since childhood up to present has a meaningful contribution to our whole life. It gives more knowledge, skills, and experiences that we will be proud proud of. So let's move on to the extended time frame. A good project is not a one-shot lesson. It extends over a significant period of time. The actual length of the project depends on the nature of the project and the age of the students. So, it requires much time so that the students will experience a succession of challenges and they will be proud of what they've accomplished. Student decision making. In project-based multimedia learning, students have a say. So, in project-based multimedia learning, teachers look carefully at what decisions have to be made by the students. Teachers will guide the students' decision and give some advices to be able to accomplish a good final product. Next, collaboration. We define collaboration as working together jointly to accomplish a common intellectual purpose in a manner superior to what might have been accomplished working alone. So, it is about having a cooperative group or students are working together as a team or by pair. So, each of the students will have their own contribution or role to be able to accomplish their final work. Assessment. Regardless of the teaching method used, data must be gathered on what students have learned. So, regardless of the teaching methods used of the teachers, we don't know yet if the students really care and understand the discussion. So, if you are a good and active teacher and using a direct or post-school experiences, having 90% of learning that the students will acquire based on Dale's cone of experience. Of course, your student must also gain 90% of what you have discussed. Unless a teacher is just having a written output or visual aids and let the students write it on their notebook and just discussing without doing it. Even if the students understand your lesson, you are still required to give additional assessment challenges for the students to have 3 different roles in the project-based multimedia context. So, these are activities for developing expectation, activities for improving the media products, and activities for compiling and discriminating evidence of learning. And the last dimension of project-based multimedia learning is multimedia. In multimedia projects, students do not learn simply by using multimedia produced by others. They learn by creating it themselves. Through research and designing their project, they can gather and create pictures, video clips, recordings, and other media objects that will serve as the raw material of their final product. Let's proceed to the advantages of multimedia. Creativity. Multimedia brings more life to discussions. Evaluation. It offers ideal learning assessment tools which are also entertaining for the students. Realistic approach. It provides approaches which make learning more realistic. Wide variety of support. Multiple media formats are available for use. With the use of it, different models will enable to create multimedia. And lastly, trending. The current trend of culture leans toward technology, and a great number of resources are being made available for different media formats. We also have disadvantages of multimedia. First, Accessibility. Multimedia requires electricity to be operated, which may not be available in some rural areas or may not be consistently available due to shortage and blackouts. Second, costly. So, the production of multimedia is more expensive than others because it is made up of more than one medium. Production of multimedia requires an electronic device which may be relatively expensive. Multimedia requires electricity to run, which adds to the cost of its use. Time consuming. So in creating multimedia, it requires more time. Multimedia also requires mastery. So it requires consistent and long practice to master, which may take a lot of time and energy from the user. So I hope you learned something today, and let me end this video lesson by this quotation. The most important thing that schools can do is not to use technology in the curriculum more, but to use it more effectively. Have a nice day, everyone!